What's going on with Moises Caicedo? Because it's been quite a day.
Yeah, Arsenal are making big moves at the moment. They made a £60 million bid for the Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo. Brighton, as expected, have rejected that bid. Arsenal remain interested in Caicedo and are deciding now whether to go back in for him. That's despite Brighton's insistence that the player is simply not for sale. Just on the bid itself, it's actually guaranteed £60 million. This isn't a deal worth £60 million, including add-ons. £60 million is guaranteed to Brighton. And if you think about it, the biggest transfer fee that they've had up front was around £57 million plus add-ons for Marc Cucurella when Chelsea bought him from Brighton. So it could exceed that £60 million, but for an initial payment, Brighton won't have got this much money up front. And this is for a player that Brighton signed for £4.5 million. It's incredible to think that in just 2 years from Independiente del Valle. But like I said, Brighton's stance is simple. Moises Caicedo is not for sale. The Brighton head coach, Roberto De Zerbi, was holding his news conference earlier on today ahead of their FA Cup game at home to Liverpool on Sunday. And he was asked the question about Moises Caicedo with the Arsenal bid going in. And he says, look, we really hope that Moises Caicedo does stay until the summer. This is what he said.
I spoke with him like a father, not like a coach. Because I'm not egoist. I understand when one player has the possibility to change a team and go to a very big team. I understand, but my work is to give the style of play, but to give also advice for his career, his life. The problem is not is never when you sell, but the problem is who you want to buy, because you can improve. Also, if leaves one big player for us, no, and we are not to be afraid, and we have to know the political of our club. We have to know the level of Brighton.
So Arsenal chasing Caicedo, does that mean they're no longer chasing Declan Rice?
I'll come to that in a minute. Just really interesting stuff that De Zerbi said there. Right at the end of that, we need to know where we are. He's basically saying we know we're Brighton, almost implying that there might come a time when, if the bid is big enough, they might have to do business because they are Brighton. And he's saying he hopes he will stay until the end of this month into the summer. So I just wonder whether those kind of quotes are giving Arsenal any kind of encouragement, because if this is their first bid, you would expect Arsenal not to just stop there. You would expect them to go back in, but that's something that they're discussing at the moment. But with regard to Declan Rice, we know that there's an interest in him, and I think Arsenal do remain interested in Declan Rice for a move in the summer, regardless of what happens with their pursuit of Moises Caicedo. But it's not going to happen this month. I mentioned the summer for a reason, because West Ham United are simply not going to sell or even contemplate a sale of Declan Rice in the January transfer window, given the position that they're in. He's only got 2.5 years left on his contract, though. So come the summer, I think he'll be one of a number of elite midfielders who we will be talking about. And if Brighton have their way, Moises Caicedo will still be with them at least until the summer. But I think it's clear to see that midfield is a huge priority for Arsenal. A lot of their fans are always talking about that's the area that needs strengthening, and it's just seen at the moment as maybe they need competition for places, but the players that they're going for and the fees that these players would command, it almost feels like it's got a succession plan about it. Now, I'm not saying the likes of Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka are at the wrong end of their careers, but look, Thomas Partey is going to turn 30 in June. Granit Xhaka has already turned 30. So it just feels like, yes, they want to provide competition for players like that, but they are looking beyond those players as well, with the likes of Caicedo and Declan Rice. And another side note to all of this, which gives us a clue where Arsenal are at just now. Monaco have approached them over the availability of Albert Sambi Lokonga. Now, it's thought Arsenal will only consider allowing Lokonga to leave if they were to bring in a replacement. Now, we know they're in the market for a midfielder. It's obvious with Caicedo. The other issue they've got is with Mohamed El Neni. He's got a knee issue. The club still haven't said categorically how long he will be out for. He's still being assessed. But if he's out as well, then, you know, the need to bring someone in, and Mikel Arteta admitted it earlier on this week, would become greater.
Strengthen from a position of strength. Are Arsenal getting everything right here?
I think my information was that this window, Arsenal were expecting to be pretty quiet. They normally do most of their business in the summer. But because Arsenal have started the season so well and they're in such a fantastic position and they've got a very, very good chance of winning the title, the owner of the club was willing to back Mikel Arteta as much as he could because they're in such an incredible position. And hats off to him. That is exactly what he's done. And it shows you how much faith the owners have, not just in Mikel Arteta, but also in Edu as well. And the business that they've done recently in previous windows.